time for my favorite part. Let's bring in the life. Once again, cheap orange paint. This one is Apple Barrel Pumpkin Orange 20470E. But any orange paint is absolutely fine. One spot that you might have some trouble is that if you come across the eyes like this also does have the same effect that you can get if you were cleaning off a paintbrush. And so if you come across the eyes in this direction or any edge in this direction, be careful because your brush may shed some paint and send a globule dripping on down. So be careful of that. Another thing to take care of is of these edges. If you're moving your brush along and it hits the edge, the brush may snap forward and fling some paint across to your opposite side. This really isn't a huge problem, but just be aware that it may happen. Not too bad at all. There will always be a few leftover spots that you missed. Happens all the time. Just try to find the bigger ones, give them a quick once over. And if you've got that, then you're good. Don't kill yourself trying to find every little spot where the brush didn't quite catch things. So there's that extra spot all patched up and set. I'm going to let that continue to dry, and as that happens, we're going to work on the stem. There's also a spot where you have to worry about your brush flicking off flecks of paint as you go over the ridges. Because if you do and they go spattering, they'll go spattering onto your orange. You can always cover it later with a little bit more orange, but you might not want to, and it's a trifle annoying to fix. So just be careful of your brush and make sure you don't go flicking bits of paint where you don't want that color. Okay, I'm most of the way there with that stem. But right around the blending point between the pumpkin and the stem, there's a lot of little white spots that I didn't quite hit. So I'm going to use that dry brush blending here. I'm going to get most of the green off of this brush. And then I'm going to take this mostly dry brush, feather it over that area, leaving just a green dusting that should cover up the white. All right, for the most part, that's our happy little guy. And here you can pretty much be done and happy. Except there's still a little white spot.
A few moments later.
Okay, there's our happy little guy. And at this point, you could be absolutely done. You could put them on a mantle and or whatever. Throw a little LED in them. And you could be set. But we really should talk about a couple things. First off, maybe you made a paint choice that in retrospect was not so hot. For me, I'm not a huge fan of the green I just used for that stem. To me, it's too dark the whole way around. And another thing to consider is after you got him this way, even if he's done, sorry, my little friend, but maybe somebody goes zooming through the house with a sharp edge thing and we catch a scratch. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. So that is a possibility. Granted here, sorry, little guy, no biggie. But you should consider sealing your pumpkin with something, be it polyurethane. I usually use spar varnish, but it's stupid expensive. And possibly like Krylon makes a really good spray coat glaze that you can get in clear gloss, matte, or semi-gloss. But I will show you guys a little bit of final coating stuff on our guy as well, so that terrible tragedy, bad thumbnail, never happens to any of your pumpkins. And I'll also show you again how to brighten things up, darken things down, because I want to brighten up the stem. It's too dark. All right, correcting color issues. So as I just mentioned, I don't want to look this green. It's too flat green. And the brown stuff I put in the middle there to make the ruts darker, it's darker, but it's not noticeably darker from the rest. So what I'm going to do is do a quick technique to make all the raised edges pop. And that's the same thing I showed you earlier with this brown, and that's dry brushing. You can lighten or darken just about anything using this technique. And all I'm going to do is give this stem a little bit of dry brushed yellow, only on the raised edges, to make it pop a bit more. So we get most of the yellow off of this brush. Just gonna feather this mostly dry brush some yellow back and forth over this. And any area that's raised up will take on the yellow, and any area that's in a rut in between won't be able to get any of it. So this will brighten up all my raised edges. There's that stem after a hit of yellow, just to brighten it up. And with that, our little guy is pretty much set, apart from doing some sealing. So I'm going to let him dry completely overnight, so I know there's no chance of mixing any paints. One of the problems of dry brushing too early, if I had not let this stem start to really dry, then chances are I would start getting mixed green and yellow into my paintbrush. And that almost was starting to happen here, but the paint was really dry, so no problem. So never dry brush too early onto a surface that you want to change. But we'll let him dry overnight completely, and then we will seal him up.